The party give her a ticket because they genuinely believed she could govern Panihati effectively? Or did they simply use a grieving mother as a powerful symbol because they knew her face could flip a TMC stronghold? Because let's be real, there is a massive difference between empowering a woman and just using one. Imagine this. A mother who actually can't read just won a seat in one of India's most complex state assemblies. The whole country is cheering, right? I mean, it's an incredibly powerful, emotional story. But, nobody really seems to be asking the one question that actually matters once the celebrations fade. What happens on Monday morning? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly that, governing beyond the emotional mandate. We're going to investigate a really fascinating core premise here. Can an inexperienced homemaker with absolutely zero administrative training actually govern after being handed literally one of the most demanding jobs in Indian democracy? Well, let's find out. First off, we've got to be completely honest about how she won. Look at this number, 28,836. Ratna Debnath won Panihati by a massive 28,836 votes. She secured nearly 88,000 votes total against the ruling TMC's candidate in a constituency they'd held for years. So let's be clear, this wasn't just some sympathy vote. This was an absolute landslide. And her victory was really fueled by the electorate's deep emotional response. Her message that her daughter will make the lotus bloom, well, it struck a profound chord with voters. For them, the tragic RG car case had become a symbol of everything wrong with the state. People voted for her grief. They voted for her courage. They voted for exactly what she represented. But okay, here is the brutal reality of what she's just signed up for. Take a look at these three main functions: making laws, holding the state executive accountable, and sanctioning public expenditure. In plain English, that means she's going to be expected to scrutinize government budgets, debate complex legislative bills, and navigate some seriously dense bureaucratic systems to actually deliver for her people. And the depth of that legislative responsibility? It's staggering. MLAs have the power to frame laws on everything in the state list. We are talking about police reform, prison administration, agricultural policy, public health legislation, you name it. And these aren't emotional issues, right? These are highly technical, institutional, and heavily document-driven responsibilities. Which brings us to a really simple but absolutely crucial reality. Ratna Debnath is illiterate. And hey, this isn't a judgment at all. It's just the single most important administrative hurdle that every single voter in Panihati deserves to have an honest conversation about. Let me walk you through what that Monday morning actually looks like at the constituency office. You wake up and boom, there's already a line of residents out the door with complaints. They need roads fixed, water supply issues sorted, electricity, land disputes, hospital access. And ensuring development, that means reading government orders, signing off on proposals, and writing formal letters to state departments to fix these local issues. And the demands definitely don't end at the local office. State assemblies are supposed to convene for at least 90 to 100 days every single year. So for a third of the year, an intense level of focus and preparation isn't just expected, it's an absolute non-negotiable requirement. During those 100 days, you're handed big budget documents, policy reports, bill drafts. Actually, to put that into perspective for you, a state budget alone can literally be over 1,000 pages long. You're expected to debate intelligently on the floor in formal Bengali and English. You have to ask questions of ministers, table motions, and serve on specialized committees that review written submissions and produce detailed written reports. It's a massive amount of reading. Now let's be clear, illiteracy absolutely does not mean a lack of intelligence. Ratna Debnath clearly has extraordinary emotional intelligence and this very genuine ability to connect with people. But as you can see here, there's a stark dichotomy. Campaigning, that runs purely on emotion, but governing relies almost entirely on paperwork. So, we really need to shift the lens of accountability here, because this isn't just Ratna Debnath's story, it's the BJP's decision. Top national leadership, we're talking the Prime Minister, Smriti Irani, Biplab Deb, Dharmendra Pradhan, they put her on stage and threw their full support behind her. They knowingly gave her the ticket, despite her complete lack of political experience. And, crucially, despite knowing she was a homemaker who couldn't read. Which kind of forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. Did the party give her a ticket because they genuinely believed she could govern Panihati effectively? Or did they simply use a grieving mother as a powerful symbol because they knew her face could flip a TMC stronghold? Because let's be real, there is a massive difference between empowering a woman and just using one. But hey, to be perfectly fair, we have to look at the historical counterargument here. Look at this table. India's assembly halls are absolutely full of highly educated career politicians. And what have they delivered? Educated ministers ran the Bengal school job scam, experienced party workers managed the ration distribution scam, a veteran administration handled the RG car cover-up. So for a lot of voters, experience has often just meant experience in corruption and delay. In fact, this recent election has been called the revolt of the commoner. And there's a deep historical precedent for ordinary citizens succeeding. Think about it. Lal Bahadur Shastri came from extreme poverty. APJ Abdul Kalam was a scientist. Sometimes local farmers and teachers make the absolute best representatives simply because they possess this genuine, incorruptible sincerity. The voters saw Ratna's strength and sincerity, and honestly, that's way rarer in politics than any college degree. So with all that said, is there a path where she actually succeeds? Absolutely. But hope isn't a strategy, right? She needs concrete institutional support. First off, she needs an independent legislative support team to read bills and navigate the rulebook for her. Second, immediate adult literacy support. Just learning to read basic Bengali would change everything. Third, the BJP must stay accountable. They can't just abandon her to drown in the assembly now that they've won. And fourth, the voters of Panihati have to stay engaged and actively demand good governance. Ratna Debnath's victory was very real, and her mandate is 100% legitimate. But democracy doesn't end on election night. It begins there. The celebration is over. The unglamorous daily grind of delivering clean water and reading thick budgets, that starts right now. At the end of the day, Bengal deserves an MLA who speaks for the people and can actually read the budget. I genuinely hope she succeeds. I really do. But we have to hold her and the systemic actors behind her accountable. And that brings us to our final lingering question. When political parties field symbols just to win emotional mandates, after the cameras pack up and leave, who is actually doing the job? Really think about that. If this explainer made you think, please share it. Not even because you agree, but just because this is a conversation that absolutely needs to happen. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.